just give you a little sneak peek, guys, of what's going on here. This is going to be a new selection menu that's going to automatically load in your vertex groups. You're going to have a ton of automation tools. And if this looks confusing, trust me, it's not. It's just listing a lot of things. You have a lot of options for proximity controls and automatically loading in your vertex groups. Lots more updates to come. Watch this thing all the way to the end and you will get all the information you need on this, where you can find it on Blender Market, and joining my Patreon so that you guys can get some free add-ons. Really appreciate you guys watching, subbing up, and I will see you guys in the tutorial. Add-on development in Blender is just getting a little too crazy, so check this out. This is my new add-on, and I'm going to just go over a few things here. One of the best tools that I've probably ever made, and we're going to throw in a few modifiers here. Just going to throw a displace in. We can name it dis1 and get that / out of there. I've got the Gavo tools here as well for selection of certain object vertex locations, where you can say show an indice. So 54, I'm just going to enter that in, and I'll use the vertex index right here. And so if I put in 54, it's going to highlight 54. And now we can select proximity, but that's not the cool part. That is just some clever Python. That's all that is. The other stuff is a little more ingenuitive. Really like it. So what we can do is we can say, okay, I'll call this group verts, and I'm just going to create the vertex group. Now that's named, I can come up here and load the, or let's just create the modifier. I can load the vertex group from here manually. Cool. But if you happen to have a bunch of vertex groups, and we'll just go ahead and create a few and go to vertex, drop down that, you can see it. Or you can use the preset modal that I built in and modified just for this purpose. So if I press Shift Y, down here in the bottom hand corner, you're going to see a whole list of the different vertices that are here, okay? And there'd be a little pointer going to them. For now, I may change that. But the cool part is this is going to update right here on the vertex group. So if we Shift Y this, you'll see the actual vertex group is going to be updating as you do that. So if you were iterating through and you had a bunch of groups, let's just say this is going to be one of them, and I want to bring in and assign a few more. So we'll go to like verts, the basic one here. Just going to grab a few, assign, go to 2, grab a few, assign, grab a few of these and assign them. And then come back out, and if we hit Shift Y again, you will be able to kind of shift through, and I think you may find this to be somewhat useful for prototyping, rapidly switching in and out of the vertex groups and having them automatically load into the active modifier. And I'll come up with some more controls that you can actually switch through the modifiers as well. And what we'll do is we'll have one modal set up here for this. You can switch the modifier, and then you can come here and switch the actual vertex group. So that's pretty cool. Nice fun update. And as always, you have the Gavo selection tools here. These are going to give you a lot of really unique things you can do. You can go ahead and select your starting vert. You can check a selection mode, vertex, edge, or face. You can name the proximity group, and you can have the selection be box, sphere, or cylinder style. This is going to give you a number of different selections, so you can kind of select things as a loop, whatever you want to do, and then you can add those very quickly to a group, a vertex group. And so I would just boom, create vertex group, and now I've got that group, but I would want to name that. So I could just say custom verts, and I'll just go ahead and do that. And then once I shift Y, I'll see, hey, I got custom verts. Let me go ahead and load those into the displace modifier. So if we come back out, I'll have that instead. And so I can kind of say, hey, what do I want stored in here? And then you can group them up any way you want. You'll have the indices loaded here. So just look at this as 2 add-ons built into one. This one will create your modifier. It will load your vertex group. It'll give you a list. If you have more than one object in the scene, this is very useful. You can just grab said object. It'll create, it'll make that object active. Pull up statistics. Once you're happy in here, you can also change, don't forget, this is pretty cool. You can change the unselected verts color, and then you can change the selected vertex color. So this can be very helpful, and you can create your own color schemes, or you can reset it back to default if you don't like it. You can also change the indice size, which is pretty helpful. So if you happen to have something like this going on, I think this is going to be very, very visually appealing and easy to see. And that is the general idea of this add-on, is to much more automate the process of vertex selection and assigning to modifiers. And your second section is a proximity threshold, and you'll be able to, if these sliders don't work, it's because your selection is not meant for that. I'll do a more in-depth tutorial for this, but it's really easy. If you're on faces, you can select a XYZ threshold, and if it's not working, then it's just not. You've either over selected or you're just not in the right selection. It'll make a lot more sense if you wanted to go to sphere selection. That is the one where the proximity one's going to work the best. It's kind of designed for that. Like I said, you'll have all your indices listed here. Anyways, if you guys like this idea for this add-on, you can go pick it up on the Blender Market and support the channel. I've got a discount right now on all of my add-ons. There is going to be a promo code on the in the comments, so go ahead and jump in there. And don't forget, Shift Y gives you this excellent what are we going to call this? Just your custom selection menu, whatever you want to call it. But this is pretty cool, and you can look forward to a lot more updates with this add-on. It's going to get really crazy. I'm going to throw in vertex weights and things like that, and a different draw method, a couple different draw methods to really just make this like the best, most versatile add-on. And as you can see, I'm using Blender 4.1.1. This works in any of the Blender from like 3.6 and up that I've tested it. I'm sure it's going to work in 3.3 if you're still using that, but I don't know why you would be. So 3.6 and up, you are solid. And this will be, I think, something that you guys can sink your teeth into and have a little bit of fun with at the same time. Thanks for watching. If you're not subbed up, go ahead and do it. If you haven't jumped into my Patreon, you're missing out. Lots of free add-ons. Anyways, appreciate you guys and have a blessed evening. Thank you.